Hello everyone, I'm Jay Warren. The Arlington Tamara Foundation will host the city's first Child Care Summit Saturday, September 14th from 9 a.m. to noon at the City Council chambers as well as at the George W. Hawks Downtown Library. Now this event is meant to spark community conversation on strategies to increase the quality of child care available to families. And joining me now are two very special guests for us. We also have Victoria Farrar-Myers, who is with us.
Good to be here.
We're so glad you're here. And also we have with us Jaretha McDonald, who is the CEO of Arlington Home-Based Child Care Providers.
Yeah.
And before we get into our conversation, can you give us a quick answer or description of what you do?
Well, I'm CEO of Arlington DFW Child Care Providers, and we are a professional organization who provides training for child care professionals in the Arlington and DFW surrounding areas on how to run high-quality, sustainable child care businesses.
Wonderful. Well, that's a great resource for our daycares here in the city of Arlington. And I have got some kind of scripted questions we want to run through so people could learn more about what you've got here. But before we jump into those, can you tell us a little bit about the goal of the seminar that you guys have put together here?
Well, as you can see, why Jaretha is a partner in this. The goal really came out of conversations with our lead businesses here in Arlington. The families in Arlington talked about the need for childcare for stability in their jobs. We talked to our major employers, whether they're small businesses to large businesses. They told us they really needed a way for not only access to childcare, but to ensure that that childcare was quality. So really the focus of this started to really take shape when we brought together lead providers, we brought together nonprofits, faith-based groups, and a lot of organizations, and started to talk. And what we realized in that first meeting is like a lot of folks didn't know what each other were doing.
Right.
So for the first couple of meetings, it was sort of like breaking down the silos. And then we started to get to work and thought, what can we do? Let's convene a conversation, a summit, where we can kind of talk about in a large panel format, talk a little bit about the bigger issues of access and quality, and then have breakout sessions where one session will focus on access, and that's really where we work with the workforce development, and we work with nonprofits and faith-based groups to help parents learn how, or help them to train them to help parents to fill out, the TANF paperwork or SNAP paperwork or other paperwork to get you the access to those dollars that are so important to get you back on your feet. And really then kind of have a discussion about once you're there, how do we get you off? How do we get you back into the job and workforce, and really discuss that. So that's one of our breakout. And the second breakout is actually on the quality. And that's where Jaretha and a lot of others come into this, because we really need in our city non-traditional care, because our GM has different shifts. Certainly hospitality has a lot of different shifts. So we have both home providers like Jaretha and others who work on those, and then we also have center providers. And one of the things we know, the state legislature just passed a legislation to mandate childcare for pre-K for 4-year-olds. There we go, pre-K for 4-year-olds. And one of the things I think we need to realize, though, is 0 to 3 is so incredibly important for the development of our children. So having quality childcare providers who can recognize if there's dyslexia or a learning problem or something earlier on, that's very important. So getting all of our centers up to, if you think of the Texas Rising Star, which is, not to use too much terms here, but there's four levels. If you get to a level 2 in excellence, you are then able to take on TANF or SNAP or other federal and state funds that assist these families in getting the necessary care that keeps them in work.
Right. Well, and I love that you're talking not only about daycare, but also getting people back to work. There's really kind of two focuses here, which is fantastic.
Jay, I really think it's bigger than that. I think this is an economic development workforce issue. Because if you think about it, it's all of these providers are small businesses. So we're assisting them in getting better and understanding how to do their craft better. It's a workforce.
And take advantage of the resources that are out there as well.
Absolutely. Take advantage of the resources that are out there. Build a network of individuals to help and support them. It's also a workforce issue, not only just for the parents and the children of today's worker, but also of tomorrow, because those children who have much better start in life are also going to be our better employees. So really, when you think about it, we are talking childcare, but we're really talking about a workforce and economic development.
There are a lot of key areas that touches, including our education system as well.
Absolutely.
They'll be better prepared to learn when they get to school.
And think about this, when we start, ASD is starting out with several schools, but when we go full out on pre-K4, one of the things that I think about is all those kids that have gone through Jaleesa's programs, other programs, where they have probably got a head start on finding a way forward.
Yeah. Let's get some other questions so people can learn a little bit more about the summit that you all have prepared. What are some of the sessions that you think guests can look forward to at this event?
Well, in the child care session, guests can look forward to, especially the child care practitioners, learning information about TRS, the Texas Rising Star Quality Program, which is Texas state quality program. And it is a program that provides mentors and education and all sorts of resources for providers to run high quality businesses in the Texas region.
And it's so smart to tell people about that, because I suspect most people have no idea that even exists.
Right, yes. And so it's a really, really great program, and we are trying to get as many providers in the Texas region on the program. And also practitioners can learn about the Texas Professional Development Registry Program. And when you talk about workforce, this is very, very important. The Texas Professional Registry Program is a program to where child care practitioners can get on a website and load up all their certificates, and they can go up the career ladders, which is very important because in our field, we do have the most important job in the world, but we have the lowest pay, but we provide the most important services. And so this will help our state leaders gather data on how child care practitioners are performing and stuff like that. So that way we can get more resources, so we can get better pay and better resources for the practitioners who do this very important work every day.
Absolutely. Talk to us a little bit about some of the organizations that will be involved. I know you're bringing together a wide group of folks here.
Yes, we are. Well, first and foremost, have to thank the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation, who the board believed in us enough to say, okay, we'll support this. Right. And it was really surprisingly, we thought we'd have to spend a lot of money doing this, and it really was not. It was, a free breakfast. Come have a chat with us, and then also working with groups and organizations to get the necessary credits. So working with Jaleesa's organization, working with the Child Care for, working with Workforce Solutions of Tarrant County, working with organizations, both the career centers as well as the centers of child care that we have here. So there's probably about 55 child care centers here in Arlington. Boys and Girls Club have 15 of those, so Boys and Girls Club will be a part of it. Sure. The Lena Pope Home, which Lena has really done a lot of work on trying to study quality and access. The Child Care Access Network. So a lot of probably the names that are familiar for those that are inside, and frankly, I'm not one of the insiders. I convened this because I really thought this was an important issue, and I think that, as a local government, we can convene, but it's really up to the folks like yourself who are innovative and innovating in that area that can help. The last part, though, I think is really important, which is one partner we brought in, which is a little different than most summits like this, is we brought in HR professionals, human resources professionals. Shamsha, which is here in Arlington, we brought them in and ask them to be a part of the discussion. Because as you move forward, some of the things you look at is what can businesses do to be innovative? Right. Some businesses are doing same-day pay. Some are doing on-site care. A lot of on-site child care has actually gone away because of liability issues. But with Texas Rising Star and some other programs like this, if you can get that certification, that can actually prepare workers and workforces in a different way.
So the summit also wants to make sure that families understand the state and federal benefits or resources, maybe a better word out there, that exist that they may not either know about or be taking advantage of. Can you describe those to us a little bit?
This started off as what we fondly refer to as the train the trainer session. Yeah. Those who are most familiar, I'll put it with, it's kind of like income tax, right? Yeah. You can go to somebody and help you fill out your income taxes. Sure. But you really can't go to anybody to help you fill out a TANF form or a SNAP form, or a lot of folks don't even know what those things are. Right. And even sitting down, I sat down with some professional social workers and said, okay, what's the biggest barrier to getting funding, state and federal funding, to parents that really need the assistance? And the biggest hurdle was filling out the paperwork. Right. The paperwork just got caught, or they forgot to fill out one line, and it just, by the time they just never got on. And so we see the waiting list for childcare keep increasing. And so what is one way to help? And so the professionals and talking to practitioners like Doretha, I found that it was just, okay, how do we train maybe a church or Boys and Girls Club or others to be that first point of access? you think of first responders, half the time most families go to their church organization or the faith-based organization and say, I need help.
Right.
And so how can we arm and tool those organizations to be able to train them and give them more than just the 211 number, which is frankly the number where you can find out all the services that are available. But if you don't have somebody standing and mentoring you by your side, that can be a daunting task.
And they're not very user-friendly. So
Not at all.
You're making this user-friendly is what I'm hearing.
Absolutely.
It's accessible and user-friendly.
Absolutely. And we're really trying to ultimately create measurables as we go forward in the city. You know, obviously with the foundation support, we always want to make sure that whatever money we're spending, we're getting the best bang for our buck.
Right.
And so one of the things we're doing is measuring, on the access side, we're measuring not only those that sign up, but also the centers that we're able to open up around the city to help people who need assistance to be able to call up and say, okay, where can I go and get help? And on the quality side, we're looking at how many child care centers, both home-based as well as center-based, increase at least to that level where they can receive those funds, and hopefully one day all be 4-star. But we'll be launching a year-long a 3-month, a 6-month, a 9-month, and a 12-month on that as well. So we're really going to be making sure that this summit is just not a one-time, but really moves the needle on not only providing childcare, but making sure that we're reinforcing that workforce going forward.
Well, thank you both for starting this conversation, a very valuable one here in the city of Arlington. As you noted, it touches so much of our community, so thank you.
Absolutely.
We really
Thank you.
appreciate it. Yes.
Thank you very much.
And please join us again for that city's first ever Child Care Summit. Again, that will be on Saturday, September 14th from 9 a.m. to noon right here at City Hall, hosted by the Arlington Tomorrow Foundation. We'll see you there.